Okay, class, so we've graphed the residual plot. Now we want to be able to determine if the linear model is appropriate or not. So how do I do that? You have to look at the residual plot. The whole point of plotting all these residuals is to be able to identify if the linear model is appropriate or not. So for number 13, we're looking at the graph that we made. It is a residual plot, you see it there. And we're looking to see if the points are just scattered about and to see if there's an actual pattern. And in this case, I'm looking at these points and there is no obvious pattern for this. Right? If I look at the points, they're pretty much scattered about. Now, if I wanted to look at a graph that probably had a pattern for a residual plot, it would look something like this, right? Where the points follow like an obvious kind of shape or pattern. In this case, this is like a curved pattern. So that's very obviously not the case in this one. So if I'm talking about the linear model, because there's no obvious pattern in the residual plot, this is what we say. We say, yes, the linear model is appropriate down here. Because why? Because there is no obvious pattern in the residual plot. So you want to talk about there not being an obvious pattern, but you also want to say where you're looking. You're looking in the residual plot. Okay, so no obvious pattern in the residual plot, then your model is appropriate. Okay, if you have this curve pattern, that's when you would say it is not appropriate. The linear model is not appropriate because there's a curve pattern in the residual plot, but we don't have that here. It's definitely like all over the place. So no obvious pattern, then your model is appropriate.